Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's broadcast of a little something sometimes I call Ask Nicole, which is a weekly marketing series that I have on my Facebook, on my YouTube, and on my Twitter, working on LinkedIn, working on Instagram. But point being is here every week around 9:15 Eastern Standard Time to talk about some kind of marketing topic which people theoretically care about. Now, sometimes I think I'm about to run out of ideas for doing this broadcast. And then the universe dropped something in my lap. So last week I was doing a webinar and people were asking questions about basically how do you come up with ideas of things to share on social media? We don't have infinite products. We don't have infinite new things to say. How do we come up with things to say on our social media without necessarily being full-time copywriters? And one of the items I suggested was using user-generated content. And since it was a short webinar and there was lots of other things, I mentioned a couple of examples, but I didn't really have time to get into it. And so what I thought today is I would talk about user-generated content. So user-generated content is actually, it's a lot of things. It's stuff that your customers, your people on social media and stuff come up with. And I'll give you some examples here. And what it allows you to do is not have to create everything fresh yourself. Now, if you're tuning in and you've never been here before, my name is Nicole. I have a marketing company that I've had for almost 14 years now. And I work with small businesses and organizations on basically making themselves more visible online through a variety of marketing channels. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments or subjects that you want me to cover in future videos, I'm super open to that. If you're watching this somewhere, it will be available after the live. So if you're like, I'm about to go do something right now and I can't watch this live, don't worry. Most people actually watch the replay. I might have 10 people watching live and I'll have probably around 500 people total watch the replay. So you are not alone. But if you have ideas of stuff you want me to cover, please feel free to email me. I'm always open to ideas, especially if you have questions or something like that, to try to make it applicable to people who are watching. So let's talk about user-generated content. The first thing that you have probably heard of in terms of user-generated content is basically other people writing stuff about you. So this could be either on what we call earned media, which is, publications, newspapers, television they all have websites, right? In addition to also having their radio stations or their, TV channels and stuff like that. But also you have people who have, lifestyle websites, blogs, who also write about businesses. Now, I was running a workshop last night, and one of the things I had people do was check people who were currently linking to their website. And one of the people mentioned apparently there's this woman-owned business directory in the area that I'm in, and I'm in it, and I didn't know I was even in it. So how do you know when you are being written about? One of the things, like I said, you can, with this earned media, to make sure that you don't miss anything. First of all, people might tag you, and so you'll see it on social media. But in case you're, want to be a little bit more proactive, you can set up what's called Google Alert. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. It's really straightforward. Obviously, you need some kind of Google account. A free Gmail account is totally fine, or if you have a Google Workspace. So here is my screen. Actually, I'm going to just take myself out of it entirely and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So this is just, if you go to google.com/alerts, what you can do is you can set up an alert for something. And so I have some alerts set up here. Now, for example, what you'll notice with I'm going to just pull this one up because I think it's funny. So you'll notice that I have my name. Oops, let me zoom in a little bit because that is small. It's so funny now that I'm turning 40 this month, and all my clients all these years have been like, Nicole, bump up the font. And I never understood it until very recently what they were talking about. So now apparently my namesake coaches hockey or is really good at hockey. So what I did was I put Nicole Willett all together because I was also getting obituaries for anyone with the last name Willett and anyone who, the Willett who had some kind of relative named Nicole, of which apparently there are a lot. So what I did is I put it in quotes to make sure that the alerts I get are the two names together. And I put minus hockey because I was getting a lot of hockey alerts, and I don't play or coach hockey. So that doesn't really apply to me. So what you can do is you can add modifiers to your search. So I wanted to I just deleted one so I could re-add it back here. So if I wanted to make sure I got alerts on Anchor Space Bar Harbor. Wait, did I have Bar Harbor set up? I don't think I have Potsdam set up. I think that's the one I deleted. So I can put it in quotes like that, and that'll make sure those two things are together. So it says, okay, this will create an alert for, and it, it's associated with this account. Now this account, this email account you're seeing is a Google account. Like I am technically logged into my Google. That is my Google account. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click show options, and what it will do is it will tell me, how often do I want the alerts? Do I want to get them as they happen? Do I want to get them once a day, or do I want to get them once a week? What sources do I want them to use? All of these things, a couple of these things, I just say automatic, English, any region, only the best results, or I can say all results. And it will deliver to either my email directly, or it will create an RSS feed, which I can add to my RSS feed reader. If you're watching this and thinking I should do a video on RSS feeds, I think they're awesome and I use them all the time. But I think the average person, when I talk to them, they're like, what's that? If that sounds interesting to you, leave a comment on this video and that will inspire me to maybe do a broadcast about them. But you can just have them sent to your email and then click create alert. So now it is added to my list here of all the alerts that I'm getting. So you can make them for your name, for your business name, and whenever your stuff gets written about, it will show up first and foremost in your inbox or in your RSS reader, as the case may be. So you might have people blogging about you or writing about you or putting you into a cool business directory that you don't even know are happening. And this way, going forward, you'll hear about them. So you can share, hey, I'm in this cool women-owned business directory. Click here to see everybody else who's included. Hey, you didn't have to really make you didn't make that cool directory. You're in it, but you're helping the person promote it too, which they really appreciate because they probably took a lot of time to make that and make it look nice. So I know I've blogged about businesses before and I can count the number, and nothing bad really. I can't think of anybody I would say something bad about anyway. I can count the number of times on one hand a business has left a comment on my blog saying, oh my God, thank you so much for writing about my business. I really appreciate it. And I've written way more than 5. So if you're a business who notices that and you say something to the person who wrote it and you promote it, guess what that person is going to think of you? They're going to think you're awesome and probably write about you again, or probably say how awesome you are, one or the other. Not that we do things to get things, obviously. I'm just saying being a good person usually pays off. Now, the second kind of user-generated content we can talk about is review content, right? This is reviews on review websites. I'm going to use Google My Business as an example because that applies to most businesses. I know some of you probably live and die by TripAdvisor. If you are in the sort of tourism industry, I can't have a TripAdvisor listing because I don't have a hotel or a restaurant or something that I guess tourists use when they travel. Even though I feel like a co-working space should be one of those things. If you have any connections at TripAdvisor, feel free to tell them that co-working spaces are important as people travel. But what you can actually do is you can showcase the reviews that you get as content on your social media channels. One thing you can do, obviously, is you can make like a pretty graphic and like put a review and put a quote and then link to, your Google business listing so people can see the other reviews. Another thing you can do is link directly to the review. And this is something I learned about actually from one of my coworkers a few weeks ago. So let me just show you how to do that, because this is not something I really knew about. And I don't think it's something that Google makes necessarily super obvious with. And again, I'm just using Google because I feel like that applies to most people watching this. If you have a business, you have probably a Google business listing. Now, just FYI, if you work out of your house, you can still have a Google business listing. And instead you can list that you provide goods and services to customers at their location, and that you have a service area. So it won't show your address. So if you're working out of your house, don't feel like you can't have a Google business listing. You can, and you can do it in such a way that you hide your address. Okay, so now let's check this out. So I just pulled up here our Bar Harbor co-working space. There's been more views this month. It's so funny. People are like calling and emailing, being like, so is it going to be full this summer? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, if you book, it might be, but I can't hold space. So we've had some people who are like booking out for July. So if you're thinking that you want co-working in Bar Harbor sometime this summer, you should book now, because they're like, oh, is it going to be busy? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, if someone books right now, I'm going to honor that booking, obviously. So anyway, so what you're going to do is like when you Google your business, you're going to click on the map pin and get here. Actually, let me just go back one step so that you see how I got here. There we go. So now when you do the Google search, you are obviously, it like pulls up, stuff about your business, right? And then there's the Google listing in the side here. What you're going to do is just click on the map pin. This works slightly different on mobile. I have a tutorial on how to get to this on my TikTok, but I can also maybe do it somewhere else. But I like doing more business stuff on a computer. When I meet people who run their business on their phone, I'm like, I don't even get how you do that, because like I need to like type and do stuff, and I need a computer to really do that well. So you're going to get here and you're going to see, when you scroll down, you're going to see the reviews that are listed here. So and what's funny is, for some reason, when you look at the reviews under the Google, oh my God, hold on, let me click on it. There we go. For some reason, when you click on it, like not in the map pin, it doesn't give you this share option. So look at this, like, look, Amanda, my friend Amanda came, and she has this awesome dog named Libby, who's this like super chill black lab. And so this is her in our office, like with the dog laying on the dog bed. So like super cute, like picture, just being in a co-working space. So what I can do if I want to share this review directly, because there's a picture, is I can just click this share button. And what it'll do is it'll link right to Amanda's review directly. So I can just copy this link, obviously, and put it places that I want it to go, whether it's on, Facebook, or whether it's on any other kind of social media site I'm looking for content to share on. And because like Amanda posted this publicly, right? So this is not, first of all, I'm giving her credit. And second of all, I'm linking to the thing that she created. So like, it's not so much of now, if I pretended I took the photo, or if I didn't or if she had emailed this to me privately and I just put it online without asking her, that would be different. That would be a violation, so you want to just be careful. But if something is listed publicly and you're linking directly to it and giving the person credit, like there's actually, you're attributing correctly, as you should be. So, and with that, I will say that your customers also, your customer messages are a third place to get user-generated content. So like I have a client, they do food products. So they ship their food products like all over the US, and people often send pictures of like family meals with like the food there. And oh my God, thank you so much. And the first thing that we do when we get those as like a Facebook message or something, or we get tagged on get tagged, is I write back and I say, this is great. Do you mind if we use this on our page? And they write back, and 99 times out of 100, they're like, that's great, please do that. Or they'll say, oh, that's great, but can you like link to, this cause that I'm super passionate about or something as part of it? And you're like, that's fine, we can work that in. But point being is, you want that written permission. And you want, if someone sends you a private message, that does not mean they want to blast it all over the internet. So please, if you do get positive messages, whether it's, over Facebook or something like that, anything that has been sent privately is private until you get permission to use it. So please extend that grace to someone else if you're going to do that. Now you might ask yourself, Nicole, like people aren't sending me stuff, how do I would like that. I would be very open to that, and it would be really great. How do I get people to do it? And that's what these kind of next two things are, is if you want to get more of this to happen, obviously you can ask people to do it. I mean, that's lovely. But the other thing you can do is you can make it easy. So something that people will maybe do is potentially record a video testimonial. And I found this piece of software. I did a trial during quarantine, and I didn't really use it as effectively as I wanted to. I'd like to give it a try again, and I'm thinking about doing a campaign around it. But I just thought this was a really neat idea. So let me did I close that tab? Hold on, I apparently closed the tab that I was gonna do it in. Let me just pull it up really quick. So basically what happens with video testimonials is people want to send you one, but they have to record it. And then they have to figure out how to send it to you. And sometimes if the video is long, it'll tell them that in their email or their text message that the video is too long to send. So if you want to just take out that hassle for them, you can use a service like this. So this is called boast.io, not affiliated. And what it'll do is you can make a form, and one of the form fields is record a video, and it will pull up the person's camera if they're on, most of our devices now have connected cameras, especially after this year. And you literally record it right within the form and it submits to you. So I think there's a time, maybe it might be like 90 seconds or 60 seconds. It's not like an infant. So here's a demo of the guy. Look, and it's giving him the countdown, and then he's starting to record the video. And he's showing, and so it's uploading the file and it will send to you. So if you give people an easy way to do something, they're more likely to do it, right? So if you want to collect video testimonials, you can use a tool like that to be able to do that and have people send them to you. That's really kind of nice, and people really like video content. So that's kind of a cool tool. The other thing you can do is you can kind of make an occasion, right? So maybe you want to do maybe a little campaign around this. So what you can do potentially is something like hold a contest to create a bunch of user-generated content. So one of my friends, Kathy, did this campaign for Bar Harbor Bank and Trust. I'm just going to share what she did here. There we go, pulling it up. So what they did is they are running this. They ran this in 2020 to make the 2021 calendar, right? So they ran this contest where people could submit scenic photos of the area, that they serve in Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. And the best, so photos, they, got a cash prize if their photo was, and they got their photo featured and cited in the calendar. So giving people an occasion sometimes will allow them to generate some content for you. And the more work that you ask people to do, the prize has to reflect that. So I've had clients who are like, well, I want people to submit 5-minute edited videos for a $200 prize. If you have ever made an edited video, you know how much work that is. And for the chance of maybe getting $200, you're asking a lot of work. The contest I've seen that does usually get videos is the Real Maine Weddings contest, because you're winning a wedding. You're submitting a couple's video, and if you win, you get a whole wedding, which is worth, as you know, a fair bit of money. So the more work you ask people to do in terms of generating the content, the prize or the potential to win should be higher as well. So just kind of keep that in mind. Obviously, asking someone to submit a photo is a lot less work than asking them to make a video. Sending in, and we did this, I'm trying to remember, we ran this contest for one of our clients. It was years ago. And it was just an entry form, and we asked them for the unofficial slogan for the business. And the best slogan won like a box of stuff shipped to their house or something. And people really got into it, and we got, a lot of, and one of the things in signing up for the contest was you can use, and obviously we weren't using their full name. We're going to say Linda F says, the unofficial slogan of Anchor Space is, where smart people get to work or something. So again, coming up with the slogan is even probably less work than taking a photo, because you don't have to stage it and everything. So just think about whatever contest you hold, that the prize needs to kind of be in line with what you're offering. Because sometimes I've seen them and I'm like, wow, that is a lot of hoops to jump through to get that. And if you and again, this is for user generated content. Again, if you're watching this and are like, how do I run contests? There are different ways to do them. And Facebook in particular has a lot of rules about contests. You gotta follow a lot of rules if you're running a contest through your Facebook page. So if you want me to do a video about running contests on social media and what the terms are and how to do it so that you are not only within terms, but so that it, within the terms of service, but so it's not confusing for people that are trying to enter your contest, leave a comment and say, yeah, do a video on contests, because that's interesting. So that's 2 potential video ideas in this session. So all this to say is that you do not have to come up with everything yourself in your marketing. Your customers are saying things about you or wanting to say things about you, and giving them a platform to do that not only shows because it's one thing for me to say that I know what I'm talking about, right? And it's another thing for you to hear from someone else that I know what I'm talking about. So it's important to, get that buy-in from other people. It gives your potential customers confidence to buy from you. And honestly, people are really flattered when you've appreciated something that they did, whether it was writing a review or whether it was taking the time to email you a picture of their, family feast, enjoying your food. I mean, I think that's so nice when people do that. And it kind of reminds you of why you're in business, when you see stuff like that. So user-generated content can be kind of a win-win for everybody, really. But like I said, if it's something public, as long as you link to it and attribute it, that's great. But if it is private, please get permission before you just openly share it. Because A, you want that in writing, and B, you want to give your customer that courtesy. And like I said, most times they won't mind. Sometimes they will. Sometimes there is a valid reason someone does not want their photo. I used to work for a newspaper. So maybe there's a kid in the picture and there's a custody dispute going on. Or, I'm just saying you don't know. So if they say no and they don't tell you why, there could be just a reason that is completely outside of your business that, there's someone in that picture that should not be posted online for whatever reason. And just know that, we want to keep people safe and we want to keep people comfortable. So it is good if something is shared privately to get that permission. So I hope that gives you some ideas for user-generated content for your social media, especially if you're feeling a little stuck. And thanks so much for watching today. If you have any ideas of stuff you want me to cover, if you liked either of the two ideas I mentioned in this video, doing a video about RSS feeds or doing a video about social media contests, please leave that in the comments below and let me know. Or you can also email me if you want your suggestion or idea to be a little bit more anonymous. Also, super open to having people come on. We had some great guests lately of people that I know, but just because I don't know you doesn't mean you wouldn't be a great guest. So feel free to introduce yourself or introduce me to someone you think would be a good guest and provide some good content for the small businesses that watch this. And again, thanks so much for watching. Happy Tuesday, and I will see you next week. Take care.